So how long you been a scientist?
I imagine all my life. You know, ever since I was knee-high to a grasshopper, as they say.
What's one of your big questions in life?
Oh, my goodness. You know, I'm curious about how long the sun is going to keep burning.
How long you been teaching science?
Well, I guess I'm going on year 3 of teaching actual science. But, you know, in my 10 years of teaching, I like to think that I've taught scientific steps each of those years.
So what do you think about Mr. Farmer?
Who?
Mr. Farmer.
Like growing stuff? Farmer?
Yeah, the teacher. The teacher,
Yeah. No, she's great. So, Mr. Farmer, how long would you say you've been a scientist?
I believe we're all scientists. We all have questions, and from the first time I picked up a crayfish in my Meemaw's backyard, wondered why it ran backwards, and questions just kept coming from there. How does a car stop? Hopefully it does. So, yeah, I think we're all scientists. We ask questions, and we want to answer them.
So, what would you say is one big question you have?
If this is a question I've been wanting to know my entire life, and if I figure out the answer to this, it would probably change the course of my future. When I stumble upon a groundhog hole, I know they got the dirt out, but where did they put it?
So, Mr. Farmer, how long have you been teaching science?
I've been teaching science now formally for 3 years, but I'm always willing to extend my knowledge to anybody that comes up and asks me, child, old, young. If you have questions, I'll ask them with you.
So, what are your thoughts about Mr. Duncan?
Mr. Duncan. You know, he's a good scientist, he's a good guy to work with. He doesn't have a lab coat yet, and you know, I take things seriously. I always have mine, lab coat, glasses. I think he's just a little more on the fly. He says he's still going to order it, but I'd really like to see him in the proper scientist attire.
How you doing? Did you get your food yet?
Oh, no, I'm just waiting for it.
Dude, you doing okay? Dude, it can't be that heavy. Are you doing something with your right hand?
I don't know. I don't know.
What kind of pop is that?
Just regular Coke. No ice.
Coke, no
I
ice.
water it down.
Oh, mine's not that.
What just happened?
No, dude. Okay. You have Coke?
Well, you are a little bit stronger. What do you have?
Oh, I have Sprite. You don't think that dark pop would weigh different than light pop, do you?
No.
I'm going to make a hypothesis that the Coke actually weighs more than the Sprite.
But how would we even find out if regular Coca-Cola weighs more than Sprite?
This sounds like time for a science experiment.
Are you serious? Where'd you get that?
Always gotta come prepared, Damon. Someday you might learn.
Oh, that's great. You look the part, but we still don't have a scale.
Digital scale? You need? Yeah, I brought one. Let me calibrate it real quick.
First thing we need to do, get the pop. Second thing, measure it. 250 milliliters each. They have to be exactly the same. Third thing, put them on the scale. Make a table. We have to make a table. Make a table, and then we will repeat this multiple times to make sure we're right.
Wait.
You doing that on a Wendy's napkin?
Improvise.
All right, it all works.
is
Here are our final results. You can see that the average weight in grams of 250 milliliters of Coke is 294.03, and 250 milliliters of Sprite weighs in grams approximately 286.97 grams. Well, now that we're done with the experiment, we can go ahead and analyze the results. Our hypothesis going into the experiment was Coke is heavier than Sprite, and after we tested the weights 3 times to make sure we had an accurate weight in grams, we did find that that Coke indeed is heavier than Sprite. This could have something to do with more ingredients, more sugar, caramel color, different additives that they have in the Coke. A next experiment that would be interesting is to test another dark soda compared to a clear or light soda. But until we meet again, we are going to leave Wendy's. Work is done here. When I find a groundhog hole,